G'day, my name is Wilco. I'm not a doctor or scientist, so I won't be making any claims. But there's a couple of factors that I'd like to share with you guys. The first topic is chemotherapy. The overall contribution of chemotherapy towards the 5-year survival rate of cancer patients varies between 2.3 and 2.1%. In other words, if you go for chemotherapy, your chance of survival, and that's average, is 2.3%. So I've got an attachment here that you can have a look at that explains it in more detail. It gives you what type of cancers and what the success rate is of that. Now it actually gets worse. They talk about the chance of survival over a 5-year time period. After the 5-year time period, the patient can go out of remission and the cancer reoccurs. Normally is a higher stage, in other words, stage 5, which is terminal cancer. The second part I want to discuss is your radiation. We all know that radiation causes cancer. There's a lot of chemicals and radiation that's in the market, and all of those aspects causes cancer, like for instance your mammograms, your CT scans, radiation from your cell phone towers, your Wi-Fi. There's a lot of links. Everything that I discussed, there's links, so please go through, have a look at the links. The interesting thing is that conventional treatments is treated with chemo and radiation. So if it causes cancer, why treat it with that? The side effects of chemo is elements like AML, MSD, leukemia, skin cancers, secondhand cancer, lung cancer. There's an abundance of them. Testicular cancer, and then obviously your suppression of the immune system. So ask yourself the question, before you agree to chemo and radiation therapy, ask yourself the doctor, how's the chemo going to help you? What type of chemo are you looking for? And go and research that. What is the success rate of the chemotherapy that you're about to receive? What is the side effects and the chance of survival? There's an article link, 10 questions that you can ask your doctor before accepting radiation treatment. Have a look at that and then be educated. Know what you're getting yourself into. Whether or not you're going to do chemo or radiation treatment, you need to detox your body. You need to think about drinking the right fluids, eating the right foods, and taking the right supplements. These elements is going to build up your immune system, which essentially, as we know, heals cancer. This is from Bob Wright, the founder of American Anti-Cancer Institute. Let me explain the facts behind this statement. There's 4 aspects, and if implemented correctly, there is no chance that cancer can survive in your body. The first one is balancing out pH levels through an alkaline diet. No disease, including cancer, can exist in an alkaline environment. That's from a Nobel Prize winner for cancer discovery, Dr. Otto Weinberg. In simple explanation, if the body has a deficiency in oxygen, then the organism becomes acidic and starts developing cancer cells. He also discovered that cancer cells are anaerobic and cannot thrive in high levels of oxygen or an alkaline body. Your diet can not only cause cancer, but it can also prevent or even cure cancer. It is important that your daily intake of foods naturally balances your pH levels in your body. To maintain optimum health, your meal should have a balance of 75% alkaline and 25% acidic food substances. Now understand it's not easy to achieve this, but the fact remains that if you can do this, you can beat your cancer. The next step is you've got to clean your bodies, detox. The threat of toxins that accumulates in our bodies is increasingly believed to pose major high risk. In the US alone, 47 billion pounds of chemicals is being produced every day. 27 scientists from various countries looked at 10 years of data, and the conclusion was that EMFs causes cancer, brain tumors, and disrupts the immune system. The average household has over 1,000 chemical toxins in their homes. It's your cleaners, your spray, and all of these add to the environmental toxicity. So clearly there's a lot of toxins in the environment, your cleaning chemicals, environmental pollution, pharmaceutical drugs, processed foods. And that's why we've got to detox our bodies. Our bodies are much like a car's engine. It gets clogged up over time. And yes, it's been designed to be able to handle that, but not in these overwhelming quantities. And that is why supplemental body detoxification is important. Once you've detoxed your body, the next step is to get rid of antiseptic bacteria, viruses, and fungi in your body. With the regular intake of essential herbs, botanical and citrus extracts, you can fight cancer head on. I'm talking about natural herbs like frankincense that is proven effective against the deadliest forms of cancer. It actually kills cancer cells. Oregano, that has anti-mutagenic effects. A mutagen is something that alters the genetic material, usually DNA, and when that happens, it leads to cancer. Oregano is also effective against cancers like colon cancer, leukemia, breast cancer, brain cancer, just to mention a few. There are an abundance of herbs that's got cancer healing properties. Cinnamon oil, clove, the incredible power of coconut oil. Garlic extract has repeatedly demonstrated powerful antioxidant, anti-tumor, and generalized anti-cancer properties. Processed kelp with scientific evidence that suggests that iodine deficiency is directly related to increased cancer progression. Lemongrass, unbelievable anti-cancer properties. Myrrh, neem oil, peppermint oil, cedarwood, so many. How can we possibly take the sufficient dosage of each herb every day? The next vital aspect we need to have a look at, and that's step number 4, is the foods that you need to avoid. I've got a list of top 10 cancer-causing foods, and if you can eliminate these, you can cut your risk to cancer in half. The first one is GMOs, genetically modified foods. To explain it this way, they call it Roundup Ready crops. Herbicides get sprayed over weed and plants, but it kills everything, including the crops. So what they do is they modify, through engineered bacteria and pieces of virus, they modify the crops so that it doesn't die when it gets sprayed with herbicides. So when they ran a test, they ran it over the time period of 90 days, and there was no significant results, so they continued and it's ready for human consumption. Dr. Gillis and Eric Solani decided to continue the test for another 2 years to see what happens and what the side effects is. And there was 50 different significant signs of toxicities within that. The bad thing is that they continued the test, and by the end of the test results, 80% of the female rats got tumorous cancers, and 50% of the male rats got tumorous cancers. But these are the foods that we put into our bodies, and this is why we need to take care of what we eat. Another type of GMOs is your pesticide production. They take a gene from bacteria and inject it into the crop, and when the bug bites the plant, toxins get released, and that breaks the holes into the walls of the stomach of the bug, causing it to die. And then they feed the same GMO crops to us. GMOs is just one of the elements that they mention on the list. There's 9 others. Have a look at the links, go through the details to understand more what they mean about dangerous foods. Microwave popcorn, canned foods, grilled red meat, refined sugar, also known as white death. Sugar is cancer's favorite food, and cancer feeds on sugar. You've got white flour, you've got... there's so many elements. Just have a look at it and educate yourself about what not to eat. Before we carry on, I'd like to reiterate that I'm not a doctor. Everything mentioned here is based on facts. If you don't believe me, go read the links. So let's recap. Your average chance of surviving cancer with chemotherapy for up to 5 years is 3.2%. We've established that radiation causes cancer. Remember the cancer-causing foods that you should avoid. Then the vital steps that without a doubt has been proven to prevent, beat and cure cancer is balance your pH levels. The fact is, no cancer can survive in an alkaline diet, so the correct pH levels cures cancer. Detox and get rid of antiseptic bacteria, viruses and fungi in your body. With the regular intake of essential herbs, botanical and citrus extracts, you won't only cleanse your body, but you will actually cure cancer. I agree, it's easier said than done, but what if there's a supplement that can balance your pH and give you the precise measurements of all the above essential oils? It's called Intervene Herbal. If you still don't believe me, go have a look at the testimonials of people that used to have cancer. Thank you for your time.